Good afternoon. In this video, we're going to go over this past week's trades in the weekly recap. Before I get into the recap, if you're not in the room, you can find a link in the description of the video and in my bio section of social media accounts. Also, please like the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Now, I did finish the week with 12 wins and 1 loss for a win rate of 92.30%, so very, very pleased about that. Now, I'm just going to get right into it. Traded his room on the 28th. I said, let's see. SPY puts under 627, which is over here from Friday's after hours. Now, I didn't post it online, my trades from the 28th, but I did take, let's see, I took calls at 10:05. Okay, I see why I took calls. Right when it broke high a day. I took the 6,400 calls at 7:20. And I ended up adding it 12:55, which is right here. $12.55. Yeah, $12.55. I'm just trying to look to see what happened. I added right here. Okay, 12:55. Now I get why I did that, because I was thinking that this was going to be a rangy day because of FOMC this week, and so I added more at 450, making my new average 585, and it dumped. So I ended up stopping out. Then I took calls again at 128, which is right. 128, right here. When I made new lower day but quickly got bought up, I took the 63.85 calls at 5:30, and I don't think they really went that far. I think they just ended up probably going to like $6 or something. They didn't go very far. In fact, I looked at the sell. Yeah, sold at 6. So yeah. Then I took Tesla puts at let's see. Oh, I remember this one. 157 on the 28th. 157. Now, I was looking at 157 right here. Now, we get a head and shoulders from me at the left, get the head and the right shoulder. So, as soon as it broke 327, that's when I grabbed puts. I grabbed the 325 puts at $6, and I don't think they went very much. I mean, they probably went to like 650. So, Monday was not a very good day. Just the trades just weren't there. When I got the winners, it just really didn't go anywhere. So Monday was kind of an annoying day. That's probably why I didn't post. I probably, as soon as the day left, or the day ended, I just wanted to get out, and it was such an annoying day. So then on the 29th, yeah, trade ideas on the 29th, I said SPY puts on the 627.50, which is over here, just rounded down to the nearest $0.50. First play I took puts at 10:03, which is right here. Okay, I remember this. This is a big drop. I didn't take it here. It bounced up the VWAP, but when it came back underneath the bodies of these two candles, that's when I grabbed puts. I grabbed the 63.25 puts at 680, and it bounced up and it finally dropped. So they ended up going from 680 to 1320 on that. So then I took calls at 1150, which is right here on this massive green candle. 635, it went under. It got bought, and it went under viciously. I shouldn't say viciously, but pretty good. Probably taking out stops, and it quickly got bought up. So as soon as it got over 636, is when I grabbed the 63.80 calls at $7, and they went from $7 to $8 on that play right there. So it ended up being a pretty good play. Then I took calls again at 12.55, which is right here. Came back down, Didn't quite get under 635, but I got bought back up. But once I got over to this 635.90 or even 636, I grabbed the 630 to 63.80 calls again at $6 this time, and they went from 6 to 8.50 on that play. So they ended up going pretty good on that. So 635 was holding pretty good. Now this was FOMC. Now I only took one trade on FOMC, and it was just strangled. But the trade ideas room, I think I posted that. I did the 30th. SPY puts in the 635, which is down here. I didn't touch anything. I mean, I probably could have played it. Usually the SPX is too expensive, but it wasn't too bad this day. And it doesn't usually go anywhere, but I mean, it did, have a $1.50 range. But it didn't really do anything. I wasn't taking it, but I did take calls. I did take the strangle early. I took at a 120, which is right here. I took the 6,400 calls at 490, and I took the 6360 puts at 470. And good thing I took it here, because this was basically the only call side move right here, and this is where I did take it. The calls did go from 490 to 720, and this is the FOMC announcement right here. And the calls did go up a little bit, but I don't think they went too far. And then it just got slammed. The puts went from $4.70 to $26, which is crazy. And that's all I took. I didn't want to take any more. I had a good day. I had pretty good size on that FOMC. So I was thinking we were going to drop because the market was expecting a rate cut, and if we didn't get it, it was going to dump. It was going to have a little temper tantrum, and that's what it ended up doing. So then on the 31st, I said SPY puts in the 639.50, which is down here. I always round down to the nearest half cent or dollar. I mean, half dollar or whole dollar. Because I don't like posting, 639.77 or 75, because at open it's so much fluctuation, it's going to tag that anyways. To me, I like the round numbers and the easy to remember numbers. So on Thursday, Meta had a monster gap up, had a $100 gap up on from earnings, and to me they usually end up fading the next day, profit takers, but they didn't take profit, which was kind of surprising. So as soon as the market opened, I grabbed Meta puts. I grabbed the 760 puts at 680, and it popped on me. So when it popped, I added more at like 176, making my new average 478, and I held it, thinking that we would either dump end of day or maybe gap down a little bit. I was not expecting a big gap down, so I got very lucky on that. But usually when you have these massive gap ups, I mean, it's not like we gapped up $20 or $30 on earnings. We gapped up 100 overnight on earnings, and to me, it screamed like it was going to fade, or at least profit takers the next day. And when it didn't take profit on Thursday, I was like, I'm going to hold it until Friday and see what happens. And good thing I did, because that ended up being a huge decision. So that worked out very, very well. Then I did take puts at 1034, which is right here. Red candle bounced up to the 20 EMA. The blue line came back down. Once it broke below the 638.35-ish or 40, that's when I grabbed the 63.90 puts at $6, and they went from $6 to 14 plus in 100% move. Then I ended up taking puts again at 104, which is right here. Okay, I took it right when it broke underneath the 637. I remember this place. As soon as it broke 637, because it rejected VWAP and broke 637, I jumped into puts. I took the 63.85 puts at 740, and it went from 740 to 27.50. So that ended up being 150% play. So that ended up being a really good play, and I just called it in on that day. So on Friday, obviously we gapped down pretty heavily. The Meta gap down, it dropped below 760. Those Meta 760 puts, I got a 478 averaged. They went to 1180, 100% moving that. That ended up being a monster win for me. So very happy about that. The trade ideas room, though, on Friday, I did say SPY calls over 627, thinking that we were going to bounce after we had a big gap down. Because whenever we have a huge gap down, we usually have a pop at open. And we gapped down pretty big on SPY. I mean, what was it? We closed at 632, and we opened at, we'll round down to 626. So we gapped down $6. And to me, I thought we were going to pop right at open. And we didn't. We dropped. And I waited. I took calls at 10-12, which is right here, right off this tail candle, right into the 620 area. I got bought up. Buyer stepped in hard. And once I got over the high of this hammer candle, that's when I grabbed calls. I grabbed the 62.80 calls at 630, and they went from 630 to 840 on that play. So it ended up being a good play. Then I took calls again at 1144, which is right here. Right when I'm not quite sure if I got it through VWAP or I waited to get it over to 6023.40. Either way, I got it somewhere in this area. I got the 62.70 calls at 710, and they went from 710 to 860 on that. So that ended up being a good play. And then the last play of the week is I took puts at 1258, which is right here. I went up to the, well, this white line is at 37 EMA, but we had a hidden divergence. We get, see, histogram is small and it's bigger here, but price is lower. So that's a hidden divergence, bearish divergence. And those seem to be the most powerful because that usually tells you that the trend is going to continue going. And it bounced pretty good, and it's still making a higher, a lower high, and it's basically telling you that it's probably going to end up going to lower day again. So I love these bearish divergences, the hidden ones. They end up being probably the strongest out of all the divergences, or the hidden ones. So I would definitely keep an eye on those. So yeah, I took puts right here, right when it broke underneath 621.50. I took the 62.15 puts at 720, and they went from 720 to 950 right there. So that ended up being a pretty good play. So that was the plays for the week. I hope I explained them pretty good. With that said, I'm just going to keep it short, and that's going to do it. Thanks for watching.